Welcome. The first topic of today is Sleeping Warrior. I have had some discussions with him regarding some subjects that he do not know anything about, as usual. And then I will have a look at Nathan Oakley and his friends' reaction on the Ranty picture. And oh dear. And then I have had a last minute change. I plan to have photography, but instead I will talk a bit more about this fraud, the moon fraud. And in the end, as usual, the end. Okay, let's start. When I saw that Sleeping Warrior commented on a video on Ranty's new channel and claimed that he debunked Ranty's analysis, I decided to test Sleeping Warrior. I asked questions about topics I never heard it talk about. I simply asked the question, why does both VHF radio and radar have a horizon, and why do you reach further if you put the antenna higher up? Of course, Sleeping Warrior fell into this trap. Icy will read his replies.
Your range increases with elevation because the density of the atmosphere decreases. That's how Marconi managed to prove Earth was not a globe with his transatlantic ping in the December of 1901. It is not possible to do what he did if Earth is a sphere. You needed an adjustment. They invented the ionosphere as a direct consequence of Marconi debunking the globe to make it back into a globe. Didn't you know this?
After some discussion, I come to the conclusion that this is due to wavelength, which is true, but he didn't understand his own conclusion. Let's hear him again.
There is more than one factor that limits the range of VHF radio, but the main one is the bandwidth. The higher the bandwidth, the shorter the range. That's why the new Wi-Fi hotspots in airports and cafes are only super fast in tiny locations. Stop talking about things you don't understand. You are wasting my time.
Here I explain to him that I'm a commander on naval ships, that I also have been commander on SAR ships. I have training that allows me to drive ships international. I have training on various radio system, but the meaning of this did not Sleeping Warrior understand. Let's look at his statement and compare them with reality. I asked him about VHF and he talks about long wave and Wi-Fi, which are completely different frequencies than VHF. The marine band on VHF used in the UK is between 156 and 162 MHz. Long wave is between 30 and 300 kHz. Wi-Fi 2.4 GHz and 5 GHz. It's an enormous difference between these frequencies. But does Sleepy understand that? Of course not.
Arctic. Mathematics and numbers, we know that it is not something that Sleeping Warrior masters particularly well.
Ground propagation works because lower frequency waves are more strongly diffracted around obstacles due to their long wavelength, allow them to follow the Earth's curvature, and the ionosphere and the Earth's surface acts as waveguide. This is why Marconi was able to send radio messages from UK to US. It's not a proof of a flat Earth. that they invented the ionosphere to hide that Marconi proved that the Earth is flat is something that Sleeping Warrior invented entirely on his own. Shorter radio waves such as VHF are line of sight, but it reaches a bit beyond the horizon due to the refraction that the atmosphere causes. Therefore, the range also varies. To be a commander on a ship, you need to have understanding of how all equipment works and their limitations. I asked the Sleeping Warrior for his credentials several times, but he haven't replied, so I assume that he have no knowledge about radio systems and have no understanding of how they work.
Arctic. He tries to use his ignorance as proof of his theories.
Yes, he does. All you have to do is look at a ship. Where is the antennas of the ship? At the highest point. And why is that? Because you increase the range of the radio systems. It's basic knowledge. On bigger rescue missions I've been on at sea, we sometimes used helicopters as a repeater for the radio communication, because they are higher up. They can make the radio signals reach further. That's also a proof of the limited range of a radio system because of the horizon. I will make more videos about ships, navigation and communication systems, and that they all prove the globe. But for now I will leave this subject. The reason that I started this discussion with Sleeping Warrior was to test if he took the bait and discussed something he didn't know anything about. And he did, and he proved my point. He's so stupid, so he don't realize when he discuss things he don't know nothing about. He tried to use Google, and he misunderstand the information he find on Wikipedia and so on. And he base his reasoning on his assumption that all that proves the globe is fake and cover-ups. Oh dear.
Sleeping Warrior. He thinks he knows everything, but in reality he knows very little.
Let's move on to the next subject.
Nathan, this observation looks the same every single day. The weather has nothing to do with it.
No, you'll just be sent away with your tail between your legs saying, "What about the weather?" For your straw man we don't claim. Have you factored that in? Well, on you go, lad. Go and get the weather data and pop it into the maths as well, and we'll add to the list as we go along. And then, while you're doing that, we'll point out that if Earth was a sphere, radius 3959, then every distance to horizon, that's Earth curve, marked with an X labelled horizon, you're begging the question, proof of nothing perspective hijacking Earth curve calculator, can be no more than 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. And that image with Blackpool Tower is in excess of the geometric limitations of an Earth sphere, radius 3959, therefore the Earth's not a sphere.
Welcome to Nathan's Madhouse, the show where the one who shouts the most and silence other wins. Facts are not interesting and the lies are perfectly okay. This clip is from one of Nathan's show. He has made this short version of it. Obviously, he's very proud of this part of the show. Nathan tries to cover up all his lies with his rude behavior, his fast talking, so no one would spot all the lies. In these 50 seconds he put in a lot of lies, which many of them he knows that it's lies. One of all of his lies is a Nathan classic. That one about calculating where the horizon is. No more than, he says. No one says that. It's the other way around. The curvature of the Earth and where the horizon is, it's the closest it can be, and depending on refraction and other factors, it can be further away. Nathan knows this, but he tries to fool his audience that it's the other way around.
You're asking me about my trig, I haven't done any. You're going to concede that you're holding up a straw man and you need it to be my trig? Or we're just going to go through Cat's trig that's idiotic?
Show us where it's wrong.
Sorry, whose trig?
Show us where Cat's trig is wrong.
Oh, so we are talking about Cat's wit trig then. I'm glad we got there. You seem to be thinking it was mine. Like, trying to retain that straw man that Katz was trying to burn. So we're definitely going to be talking about the dumbed down Katz trig. Okay. Katz seems to think the top of the mountain's the same as the bottom. He's a proper...
And you can show where he's wrong.
Yeah, the top of the mountain's not the same as the bottom. The bottom's closer.
And you can show where...
I am, I'm saying it, but you seem to be scared of how humiliating Katz trig is.
Let's go through it together now.
I am. You're ignoring me because it's scary as all hell for a Glober, right? Katz is totally everything up for you guys.
When listening to Nathan's bullshit, it's quite clear that he knows that this is a white swan and they have no explanations how this would work on the flat Earth. So I get more and more convinced that Nathan Oakley is a conman. I think he knows that we live on a globe, but his main income is this YouTube channel. So he sticks to the lies and he makes a freak show of his show. He abuses guests who try to make sensible discussions. He turns every argument around like this R value and atmosphere without or air pressure without the container and so on. Oh, it's pure bullshit, all of it. Okay, I can't stand more of this fool and conman. Let's move on to a new subject. I'm sorry, but my section about photography is moved to Friday, and that's because I wanted to say some more about Ileana Moon and her scam. First, about my illness. I have been ill for several years, but I have never talked about it on my channel. Some have known about it, other content creators that I talk to, such as you, Jars. This is because I'm not my disease. What I want to contribute to the community is my knowledge in photography, filmmaking, navigation, and so on. I try to use my knowledge to prove. As I said in the video, I'm lucky to live in a country where healthcare does not cost a lot of money. My citizenship is my insurance. I'm also well aware that not everyone as lucky as I am. That in countries like the US, you need expensive insurance to have the same healthcare as I have. This is also what makes me so angry. As I understand it, she is a US citizen, and there are sick people who really need the money that she did scam of people. I have donated money several times to such purposes, but I was lucky. I never saw her fundraiser and did not get scammed. Okay, this was a little short clarification about my previous video. Now to the next topic. Okay, then we're at the end of this video. First of all, I want to send a big thank you to all of you that made nice comments to my video about the frauds. It warms my heart, really. It's heartwarming. And I'm sorry that I did make some last minute changes because of this, excuse me, bullshit with this fraudster. I'm still so damn angry about this. I will be back on Friday with a more normal video, and then it will be photography and some other stuff. Okay, that was all for this time. Thank you for watching.